Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the market caller for today, the 17th of August, 2026. We're excited to have you all joining us today for the market caller. This is CJ speaking to you, and we also have Abby, Cynthia, and Lekon. Together, we're going to be sharing with you our thoughts on the markets for the week. We're also going to be sharing with you possible trades that we intend to take this week, and we'll be showing you the setup as well. This is what we cover here on the market caller, brought to you by yours truly, the Value Flow Trading team. And without further ado, we're going to be heading straight into the chart as we analyze for gold against the dollar. Now, looking at gold against the dollar this morning, you can see that gold is already resuming bullishness after a couple of rejections around 4,430 about that price. Price has been rejecting all through, and I think it's been shying away from 4,500. But this morning, we see that possible liquidity has been built around that region. We could see price tear it up and then continue its bullish momentum all the way to the upside, because we've been having bearish dollar. So I don't think there is any limitation to the bullishness of gold as we commence this week. So for me, this week, I'm looking at a bullish gold all through. We also saw a decent retracement, even though it kind of looked like a break or structure, but then there was no clear break around this region here. And price didn't break and close below here. So this is the main structure, and price hasn't closed below or above it. So we're still in line with the original structure, which is bullish. So I'm expecting more bullishness on gold as we head into the remaining part of the week. Now, also, if you look at the 1 hour time frame, you see that there was a lot of struggle around this region. Right now, price is already building momentum back to the upside. After breaking this small structure here on the daily time frame, on the 1 hour time frame rather, we see this structure break here. And after price broke that structure, we've not seen it make that move to the downside anymore. Instead, it's been making more and more moves to the upside. So we're expecting more bullishness on gold against the dollar as at today being the 17th for the London session. Now, if you look at the 15 minutes time frame, you also see that price is making the break, has made the break above, and then they will return back to the downside, giving us a proper retracement around here. You can see that right here. Okay, so you can see that right here, price has made the break above, giving a retracement. Now we're expecting a continuation to the upside, and it's a bullish one we're expecting. So at this point, I'm looking out for entry signatures on gold, and I'll be executing a buy as we proceed into the remaining part of the week. So for gold this morning, I'm bullish, and I want to see a continuous bullish run all the way to the upside. Now I'm looking out for entry patterns. Once they show up, I'm going to be taking an entry and go to the direction that we've analyzed right away. So one place I'm expecting to see a possible retracement on gold to is to take out this liquidity. If I see any reason why price takes out this liquidity, I'll be looking for a buy right below it. But if not, I'll look for an entry signature from where price currently is, and I'll be expecting to take that ride all the way to the upside. Now, for looking at possible targets for gold, one place I would want to see gold buy to is this particular price point here, a bit above where it's already traded. First point of liquidity will be 4,440. So that is the first place I want to see price trade to, 4,440. So if I'm taking a buy from here, I'll be targeting all the way here. This is my first target. And afterwards, I would watch to see how price is going to react from here. If I see price breaking this level and trading above, then we'll be looking for buys. But if not, we'll look for another round of sell retracements on gold for this morning. So this is what I'm looking out to see this week on gold. A strong buy, but starting off from today, my buy setup would be to see price take out this low right here. So all these lows here would be a good point of liquidity for me. And this will be where my stop is going to be. And my take profit will be right above all this place to this particular region here. So this is the setup I want to see on gold this morning. If I see it play out, I'll be executing a strong buy. But if it doesn't, then I'll be looking for price right at the break of structure which is right here. I'll be looking for an entry signature that I'll print out. Then I'll take my buy from here all the way to the upside. So these are the two ways that I'll be looking to execute a buy on gold. So I hope this is very clear and very objective for everyone who's listening. Now let's move over to the yen pair. Now for the yen, it's been bearish and there's been a lot of struggle around the bearishness of the yen. And we explained that last week. So if you missed out on last week's analysis, you should go watch it and you could pick a thing or two from it. So for the yen, we're expecting a bearishness, a strong bearish momentum to the downside. We're expecting to see the yen continuously sell, seeing that the move to the upside was instigated by government interference. So we are seeing that it's not going to hold strongly because there's not so much economic backing to that momentum to the upside. So we're expecting more sales on the yen to the downside. So for the yen, it's very clear this week. We're expecting sales all the way to possibly this level right here. Okay. Now, if we look at yen pairs, starting off with GBP/JPY, already on GBP/JPY, we've been expecting a buy since price was around this region here. If you remember when we drew this line, we said we're expecting price to keep buying even all the way to this line and this particular one above. So for GBP/JPY, I'm still very much bullish and I'm looking for buys so long as price is looking settled. Now, if you look at it on the lower time frames, on the 15 minutes and on the 1 hour time frame, we've been seeing reactions to the downside. Right now, price is looking like it wants to resume upward momentum. So we're going to anticipate a break of structure for GBP/JPY to the upside. Once we see that play out, we're going to be executing our buy on GBP/JPY and riding it all the way to the upside. So for GBP/JPY, I'm expecting price to break this high. Once it does so, I'll start looking out for my buy. So it's as simple as that. Not so much complication is needed for this particular analysis. All right, so just follow this path line as we expect a break of structure, a retracement, and then a continuation. So I'll even favor this structure right here. Okay, so this is what I'm expecting on GBP/JPY. If the price breaks this region here, I'll start looking for a buy signal, either a bullish engulfing or an evening star pattern. Either of the two will give me a signal for a buy on GBP/JPY. Now you can see that similar thing has happened on Euro/JPY already. There's been a break and a return. So since we are a little late on Euro/JPY, we will as well look at GBP/JPY, except you have enough to accommodate the stop loss that is going to be way below here. And for that, we're looking at somewhere around a 25 pip stop, which is a bit decent. So if you have a way to accommodate a 25 pips, then just wait for a quick retracement to this particular region and then you take it back. If not, the overall stop is around 35 pips if you're going to be entering now, which is not advisable. Price is currently expanding. So I'd advise you wait for a retracement to somewhere around here. And when that happens, we'll be looking out for a Euro/JPY sell. A Euro/JPY buy rather. So I would favor an entry like this over entering right away. So for my take profit, I'm going to be targeting simple 1:3 because Euro/JPY and GBP/JPY has been not predictable in the last couple of days. So I'll just target as much as I can, even with as little pips as possible. All right. So this is what I'm expecting to play out on Euro/JPY. Now we're going to be looking at our analysis on the dollar against other currencies. And for that, we're going to be having Cynthia, who's going to join us here on the Market Connect, share thoughts and bias on the dollar and the dollar related pairs. Good morning, Cynthia.
Good morning, CJ. Thank you so much for that very insightful analysis. Good morning, everybody, and happy new week. Welcome to a new week where we get to make money from the market. So, starting off with the XY, and of course, we always want to start from the weekly time frame. If you remember last week, we actually had a sell bias for the XY, right? And that was what played out. And we had so much buys on the dollar correlated pairs, Euro USD and GBP USD. So let's start off with the weekly time frame to see what price is doing. And of course, we already established the fact that price is tending to the upside. The most recent price action is actually looking bullish, which coincides and further affirms our bias for price to trade into this left shoulder, residing at 107.490. And if you come down to the daily time frame, right, we're seeing that price actually traded into this other block, and we've seen further sells to the downside. Where do we think price is coming into? This looks like a break of structure already on the daily time frame. The previous low right here at 99.514 has already been broken through. So we should see more push to the downside. Where exactly is price pushing further into? Price should probably react once it gets into this left shoulder at 97.912. There's liquidity residing right here. So we should see some sweep and for price to trade right into this level before gaining some strength to the upside. And if you come down to the 4-hour time frame, right, and there's nothing confusing right here. We're actually looking out for more sell opportunities even on the 4-hour time frame. There are a lot of gaps right here to be filled. There's one fair value gap right here. Let me pull up my shape, my rectangular shape rather. So there's a gap right here that price should probably fill. There's another block. So we have 2 points of interest as to where price should probably trade into. This other block right here and this fair value gap coinciding with this left shoulder at 101.187. So we should see some buy into this level and long-term sell into the week for the XY. On the 1-hour time frame, pretty much the same thing. We should see some reaction to the upside before selling off on the XY. We always want to come to GPC, see what GU has for us on the weekly time frame, and of course, you know that we always want to see what price is doing for the longer time frame. And on the weekly time frame, most recent price action is actually a consolidation. So we should see price breaking out of this range right into this left shoulder at 1.24683, right? We actually are looking for a long-term view on GBP/USD for price trading to 1.24683. On the daily time frame, right, we've seen the break of this high on the daily time frame, the high right here, this previous high on the daily time frame, I beg your pardon. So we've seen a break above. We should see some retest and the continuation of the buy on the XY to the upside. Right, the high at 1.35377 has been broken. On the 4-hour time frame, same thing we're looking out for, right? We're looking for price to retrace right back into some discount level at 1.33581. Once price retraces right back into this level on the 4-hour time frame, we want to keep long in GBP/USD. We're not just going to keep our hands folded for price to retrace into the left shoulder we're looking out for. We're going to be looking out for sell opportunities when there's a break and proper break of structure to the downside on the much lower time frames. We'll be looking out for sell opportunities. And of course, we know where we want to sell into this left shoulder at 1.33581 and reiterating so that we get to point out and take note of when price gets into our various POIs. Not to worry, once this materializes, we'll be dropping it in the BFT community for us to, take trades and make money off the market this week. Last on my list being Euro/USD. In the weekly time frame, we can see this shoulder at 1.06676, sweep to the downside, break to the upside. Price is caught in a range. And once price retraces right back into this left shoulder at 1 spot 06676, we want to long Euro USD. On the daily time frame, we're seeing that price has actually traded above this high. Not with so much momentum. Okay, putting my horizontal line right here, I can see that price is presently at the high, reacting off that level, but we should see an eventual break to the upside. On the 4-hour time frame, most recent price action is actually to the upside. Where do I want to take my buy from? Right. So once price retraces right back into 1 spot 13981, shoulder sweep break, return right back into this level, and we want to keep longing Euro USD. For this week, we're looking out for a sell to buy on both Euro USD and GBP USD. And once price gives us a proper break of structure to the downside, a change of character and everything that we're looking out for in alignment with our checklist, we will be shorting Euro USD. Short-term shorts, of course, short-term sales rather. We want to sell into this left shoulder, and once that happens, we want to keep buying Euro USD. With that being said, that's the end of my outlook for this week. Lekon, what are you seeing in the synthetics market for people who are tilted towards the synthetics side of things? Good morning,
Thank you
Lekon.
very much, Cynthia. Good morning, everyone. Good morning once again. That was a great analysis. And right about now, we'll be going straight into the analysis of the synthetic market to see what is really going on and where and what are we ready to take. In the course of the weekend, the market was, giving some level of dribbling, and at the same time, few pairs gave us some few entries. Okay, so this morning we are going to be looking straight into what can we see in the course of the week, starting with this 75 index. Now, looking at the 75 index, you are going to agree with me on the daily time frame. After we've seen this sell, we've been in a strong consolidation, and we have the opinion that price should come, take out all these liquidities, then begin to give away, most especially for the buy continuation. So narrowing it down into 4-hour time frame for us to see what exactly is going on there, you're going to agree with me that yes, these are more of the liquidity we are seeing from daily perspective that needed to be taken out. And when price takes it out, we expect a buy to sell. Just where we said on Friday, the setups are still there, right? We are expecting price to trade into this OB. Then when price takes out those liquidity, trade into this zone and we begin to look for opportunity to buy. But the buy is just a brief one because we already have a bus structure for a sell at the top. All right, so this is going to be hit for the 75 index, knowing fully well that price is most likely going to come all the way. We've seen this sweep, and then we also have this sweep of this liquidity being built here. So we expect price to come and take it out, tap into this order block most preferably. Like we said on Friday, there are just two kind of entries there for the sale. First, at this after price takes out this liquidity point at the top here, then we have our SL just few pips above there. Why the second entry, and we are following it all the way down, why the second entry is going to be at this order block itself, and our stop loss just here, and we are following it all the way to the downside again. And at the same time, looking at what we have currently, we are expecting that because this is much more closer to the POI for a buy, so we are expecting when this liquidity has been taken out, then price should start buying to our POI for itself, meaning we want to see price do something of this nature when it takes out this liquidity, tap into this order block, then we have our stop loss a pips below here, and we are buying all the way to take out this liquidity. When that is done, then we look for more opportunity for this sell. So this week, these are the updates, what we are looking to see on V75 index. Okay, this is what we are looking to see on V75 index. Then we are going to be moving straight to V75 1S to see what is playing out on it. Now, starting from the 24-hour daily time frame, you are going to see that V75 1S has been on a very strong buy momentum all the way to the upside. So the only trade we are looking out to see is when we see buy continuation, we join the trade and we move. All right. However, we can see on the daily time frame, we see the sweep of this liquidity that happened sometimes on Monday, right? And price already broke this structure here. In a nutshell, this is what I'm trying to explain, that we see a market structure shift at this top here, while at the same time we have a sweep of liquidity below here. So all things being equal, we are expecting this sell that is coming to sell all the way into this level here. So let's go and look out for our POI to look to join the buy at that point. Now on the 4 hour time frame, we have our shoulder around this level here, which we are expecting this sell to come all the way down, and we start buying from this zone. Like we want to see price trade into this zone, then we are going to start buying V75 1S, expecting price to respect this low, right? We are expecting the buy all the way back up again. So that is that for 75 1S. And if you come to your 2 hours for more confirmation, it makes a lot of sense looking at structure within structure around this particular zone here. You can see if we zoom out this particular zone here, you can see we already have a sweep and a break somewhere at the top here. So this is the break of structure at this top here, right? Now, after this break of structure at this top, we have price retrace a little bit, and that is telling us that all things being equal, this sell should come and take out this low here and tap into that 4 hour POI, which is also this other block that we have here. So this is going to be a very good buy region for V75 1S if you can take the opportunity. All right, looking at this structure we have here, and even in respect to this particular structure here, which is from the daily perspective, we are going to see price already taking out our liquidity point there, and we also have our shoulder there too. So that is giving us a clear move that the 75-1S is still in a very strong bullish momentum. So all we need to do is to join the bullish move and follow through all the way to the upside. All right, so that is for V75 and 75-1S. Lastly, for VIX10, you are going to observe and agree with me that we've been waiting all while for price to trade into this daily order block, of which for some reason price couldn't have the order block. Instead, it just come a little bit and did not even enter the fair value gap that is underneath, right? This is the fair value gap here. You can see it around this liquidity top here. Price did not tap into it. It just moved a bit closer. And that is still telling us that it's still very much interested in going all the way back to the upside. Now, looking at what has happened there, if you come to your 4 hour time frame, we're going to see a very clear structure around that zone, which is this sweep of liquidity. You can call this first sweep of liquidity, of which price already tapped here for this buy, and the second being this zone below here, which is this. You can see a very clear move around this zone, and that is telling us that this particular shoulder should hold, all things being equal. All right, so that is it for VIX10 index. That shoulder should hold, all things being equal, which implies that price should trade clearly, take out this low and come and tap into this zone, and this is going to give us a clear buy move moving forward for VIX10 index. All right, with our stop loss just below that zone, and we are following it through back to the upside. Now, if you begin to take that trade, this is all things being equal, price should come and take out this double top that we have already here. This is the first level, while this is the second level, and trade into that daily order block. When price trade into this daily order block, we're going to see that rejection back to the downside. All right, so that is it for the synthetic indices for this week that we'll be looking out for today into Friday to see them play out. So when price gets to our POI, we share it on our community where you should be long, right? Our ATMC community where you should be long. Then we all take it together as a community there. All right, so this is going to be the end for the synthetic market. Right about now, we're going to be moving into the indices to know what exactly the commodity indices to know what exactly is going on the commodity pair this morning. And bringing that to us is Abigail. Good morning, Abigail.
Good morning, Lincoln. Thank you for that very detailed session. So I'm going to be quickly taking us through the commodity currency market to see the opportunities that present themselves today. Okay, starting off with a look at AUD/USD on the H4 time frame. We had drawn this zone last week saying this was a major resistance point we wanted to see broken. And once this gets broken, it would highlight to us that AUD/USD has more room to trade to the upside. And surely, price broke through this particular level point all the way up here with so much momentum as well, right? Now that price is currently here, there's a sunshine printed indicating people or the institution was able to push price to this point have now taken profit out. And once this is done, we expect a temporal retracement from where price currently is into certain points of interest, which I'm going to be drawing out today. The first point of interest is drawn on the H1 time frame right here. You can see 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to call the figures out for the sake of those of us who cannot see the numbers clearly. It's 0.70628, 0.70406, and 0.69806. These are the three major POIs that we're watching out for price to eventually retrace back into, so we can continue to look forward buy opportunities following the now confirmed BOS to the upside that we've now seen price do around this H4 time frame. So going down to the M5 time frame, you'd also see that we've marked out highs and lows, what are resistance levels that we're going to be using as major key levels for this session particularly. This is it here, pulling out the price points as well. So this is now 0.70950, 0.70671, 0.70540. I'm basically saying that, yes, you're buying. For me to get into this buy and not be forcing myself into the market, I want to see you give me a relevant retracement into this, or this, while also paying attention to the indicators in between, because this can also serve as, support to hold price and continue to push it to the upside, right? So these are now my major points of interest. Now, because this strategy allows me to counter trade while, of course, reducing my risk, should I see confirmations on 1 minute time frame for an entry, I'll take a quick sell opportunity from here, and my target will be around this flip zone, or rather this possible flip zone, previous resistance that could act as future support, which is somewhere around here. A quick sell, and I'm out waiting for price to now move along with the trend. Moving to the next asset class, which is NZUSD on the H4 time frame, you'd also see that price is also buying, taking out a major structure points, sunshine printed, diagonal liquidity line right around here. We should see price eventually retrace and then trade up to come take out this diagonal liquidity, except of course we now have a fundamental news release that comes out to change the narrative in this market. So now comes my POI 0.58653 and 0.57888 on the 1 hour time frame. On the 5 minute time frame, we see that I've also drawn out my support and resistance levels that I'm waiting for price to trade into, right? So what are the price points? These are more of zones than specific price numbers. Calling it out because I know not all of us have these indicators, and it is solely for students of the VFT Academy. So 0.58969, 0.58600, 0.58509, and 0.58209 are now the 4 major points of interest that I'm watching out for on the 5 minute time frame. Similar to what I did on AU is what I'm doing here. And then moving into the last asset class for this morning, which is USD CAD on the H4 time frame. Major structure has been pushing, minor structure has now taken out relevant structural points to the downside, traded into our trend indicator, which is major. So I'm very convinced we're going to be seeing temporal buy opportunities of USD CAD from here into this, or this. The zones are 1.39163, 1.39817, or 1.40934. And then moving to the 5-minute time frame, you would see that we've also now marked out, these major levels. The first one being 1.38636. Second one is 1.39283 and 1.39564. Also paying attention to the fact that this is a level marked out on H1 that happens to be in confluence with our 5-minute trend indicator. So this is a major point that I'm going to be watching out for. Now, if this sell is a strong moving case, it is very possible that we just see price give us a tiny retracement from here into this zone or into this and continue to the downside. It is very likely. But should price break above this zone, this is where our target will be for the counter trade. As I mentioned, the all weather allows us to trade in all weather conditions. So yeah, expecting price to trade above here, take quick buy into the zone and then start to wait for a major move that will be in line with what the minor structure has been printing. And that is basically it for my view on the market. Don't forget to take a look at Forex Factory to check out for high impact news releases that have to do with the commodity currencies and the dollar. And let's see how much money we're able to make this week. Also, if you're looking to learn how to trade the financial market, we have our training coming up next month. And you definitely want to learn that if you're somebody who is a total newbie or even an existing trader who is not profitable yet. All you have to do is to WhatsApp us on 081 6099 5030 and let us guide you through. With that being said, I've been Sabi Abi. Thank you for joining. See you next time. Cheers and God bless.